I get a lot of questions about the carnivore diet, so I thought I would sit down and try to power through as many of these questions as I can in one video. My answers to these questions are going to be short and sweet. They're just going to get straight to the point, but I am going to have everything timestamped in the description box down below, and with those timestamps, I'm going to link to further resources on each topic. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it with your friends and family. And if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. Animal foods. Animal foods have all the essential vitamins and minerals that your body needs. The same cannot be said about plants. If you eat an animal nose to tail, you will get everything you need and in the correct amounts. Not only that, but these vitamins and minerals are more bioavailable, they're more easily absorbed by the body, and they don't come with anti-nutrients, which hinder absorption and have other side effects. There is vitamin C in meat and animal foods. Oftentimes it isn't tested for, so when you look something up on Cronometer, it might not show up, but there are several databases from European countries especially. There's one I use that's German, and I think there's another Swedish one I use sometimes, and they test for all these vitamins and minerals. Now, that being said, it is only a very, very small amount, but the RDAs for vitamin C are way higher than what we require. We really only need 10 milligrams per day to meet all of our needs. The reason that the RDAs are as high as they are is that vitamin C competes with glucose to be absorbed by the body. When you are eating a low or no carb diet, the vitamin C doesn't have very much competition, so it is way more easier to absorb. The carnivore diet is based around the most nutrient-dense foods, and it avoids all foods that have anti-nutrients. It is high in fat and low in carbs, meaning your body will go into ketosis and start using fat for energy. One obvious benefit is weight loss. Another benefit is that it usually clears up all digestive issues. So if you have IBS, seriously, give the carnivore diet a try. One benefit I really enjoy is that it regulates and controls hunger. Autoimmune problems are another thing that people see a lot of improvements with. And another one that's a little bit taboo is mental health. So there have been reports of depression, anxiety, all improving or going away completely. For starters, they aren't necessary. You can get all the nutrition you need and in more bioavailable forms from animals versus plants. They also contain defense mechanisms called anti-nutrients. These are in place basically because the plants don't want to be eaten, and they cause the human body negative side effects when we consume them. Now, that being said, some people can tolerate them better than others, so take that for what it is. Nowhere. And I think that's one of the greatest benefits of carnivore. Fiber is indigestible, but it still has to go through our digestive system. So that puts a lot of strain on the body. When you take fiber out of your diet, you literally never get bloated. Digestion is more or less flawless. And there's just no need for fiber. Fiber is not essential. We don't need it. You shouldn't. What usually happens is people have less frequent bowel movements and they confuse that with being constipated, when in reality, there is just less of their food that is going to waste. There's no fiber, like I said before, which basically just adds bulk to our stools. You shouldn't get constipated, but you might have less frequent bowel movements and smaller ones. For optimal performance, you should be eating roughly the same amount of grams of protein and the same amount of grams of fat. This will equal out to about 70% fat and 30% protein. But that being said, don't go out of your way to hit your fat goal. If you are full, there's no need to eat extra fat. On the flip side, if you're finding you're tired and not energized and not satiated, eat more fat. Eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. It is extremely hard to overeat on carnivore. Fat and protein are extremely satiating. There are a couple of exceptions, which I will get to in a second, but if you're just starting out, I would recommend not tracking calories, just eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full. In a couple of weeks, if the scale isn't moving in the direction that you want it to, then I would maybe track for a day or two and adjust from there. There is a very simple equation to this question. Is the food in question a part of an animal or does it come from an animal? Then yes, you can eat it. Is the food in question a part of a plant or does it come from a plant? Then no. Now there's a few sort of gray areas. Salt, yes, totally fine. Pepper and other spices, it depends what your health's like. I would suggest not using them, at least in the start, and then adding them back in later. Absolutely. Egg yolks in particular are extremely nutritious. Now, there are some people who have an allergy to eggs, but this tends to be the egg whites and not the egg yolks. So if you find you're a bit sensitive, try only eating the yolk. Yes, dairy is an animal product. However, there are a couple things you should keep in mind. Dairy is one of 2 carnivore foods which are easy to overconsume. If you have weight loss goals, I would consider avoiding dairy altogether, at least in the start. Now, the other part of this is that dairy doesn't agree with everyone. So obviously, if that's you, then I would recommend avoiding it. Yes, honey is an animal product. However, this is the other carnivore food that is easy to overconsume. So again, if you have weight loss goals, I would recommend avoiding it. Ruminant animals are the most nutritious. So that's basically things that graze. So beef, lamb, goat. Beef in particular has a really good fat to protein ratio, meaning there's enough fat to keep you energized, to keep you satiated. Something like chicken, on the other hand, which is quite a bit leaner, doesn't have that same effect. That being said though, all animal foods are fair game on the carnivore diet, so eat pork if you want, eat fish if you want, eat chicken if you want. Beef just tends to be the favorite. I recommend eating organ meats. All it takes is 3 ounces of liver once a week and you have got so much nutrition. If your body reacts poorly to adding these foods back in, you might want to question whether or not these foods ever agreed with you. This depends on what your goals are and what your health is currently like. Some people tolerate plants better than others. Usually it's recommended that you do at least 30 days of carnivore. If nothing else, you can use it as a reset or an elimination diet. And after that 30 days, you can start to add plants back in slowly and see how your body reacts. Buy within your budget. Conventional meat is still better than no meat. Pasture-raised, grass-fed does have a little bit of a nutritional edge, but it's not too significant. I think you'll be surprised though on how much money you're saving on fancy health foods and on supplements, that you might be able to splurge and spend a little bit more on quality meat. If you eat an animal nose to tail, you will get all the nutrition you need and in the correct amounts. So if there's a nutrient that you are concerned about, there is an animal food that is high in that nutrient. Carbs are not essential, meaning we do not have to get them through diet. Fat and protein, on the other hand, both of these are essential. Now, it's important to note that glucose is required by the body, and that is different to carbohydrates. Our bodies can produce glucose internally to meet all of our needs. There has never been any evidence proving this. Our bodies can produce antioxidants internally. We do not need to get them from food. As well as that, a lot of foods that are promoted as being high in antioxidants also tend to cause a lot of oxidative stress on the body. So they're kind of canceling each other out. If it was really that simple, we would not have an obesity epidemic. Moderation does not work. Balanced diets do not work. Do what you need to do. This diet is not dogmatic. There's some debate over this, but personally, I do think that a carnivore diet is a keto diet. You're eating high fat, low or no carbs. You are going to be in ketosis at least some of the time. Absolutely. There are top level athletes who are eating this way. And I've heard there are a lot of athletes eating this way behind closed doors. They don't want to come out and say this is how they're eating because they're performing so well and they want to keep it a secret. This is a loaded question and does not have a short answer, but tends to be brought up a lot. I'm just going to touch on a few points here quickly and link a whole bunch more stuff in the description box down below that you can check out. So my focus, and what I think should be your focus, should be your individual health first. You can't help other people, you can't save the planet if your own health is suffering. Now, that being said, the CO2 emissions from cattle are blown way out of proportion. Cowspiracy was based on one paper which was retracted. Basically, what this comes down to is that this issue isn't black and white. If we stop eating meat, it isn't going to save the planet. And actually, I'm starting to believe that the opposite might be true. See my previous answer to question 11, but basically, individual health comes first. I heard a quote from someone who was comparing this argument to as if someone were to say, there isn't enough fresh water for everyone on Earth, so I'm not going to drink fresh water. There is no evidence that it isn't safe. Humans have been eating meat for millions of years, and a lot of the diseases that are blamed on meat nowadays, heart disease, cancer, these have only popped up within the last 100 years. So how can meat be to blame? So obviously I've listed so many resources in the description box down below. You can also check out some other videos on my channel. I have a new to carnivore playlist, which kind of puts all my videos in chronological order if you're just starting out. I'm also gonna link some just websites, other people on YouTube, other Instagram accounts that I love and that I find really, really useful. So in wrapping this up, if you're curious about the carnivore diet, give it a try. That's all it takes. The results will speak for themselves. What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work. You just go back to how you were eating before, or you just keep experimenting. There is no downside and potentially so many benefits. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like this video and share it if you think anyone else will find it helpful. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.